I wouldn't. It just, I mean, maybe they'll be open to making positions, or maybe we'll just create it. Yeah. And she's Wednesday through Sunday. But when things happen on Monday, Tuesday, she's so that's so, yeah, it is. I don't. You just applied and interviewed for.
Always a protest going on in DC.
Okay, good.
Oh, really?
Like non-negotiable. Right. Better come with a good pay raise. I don't know how I get like he has an outlaw right now. I think he's good enough to do that. It's just a job. So I think he's like
because in my yard, because I and then you hear falling on the and one day I was in the backyard and my brother said, look at the show. And I thought that the mulberry, the mulberry they love. And ooh, I hate it. No.
We fellas used to put them on the stick and
Get them
oh, you're good, yeah. See where we are now. Yeah, obviously we see where we're now. There's that's big, but to stand there. Yes, like it was literally like, oh, we got this, we got like literally, I remember the exact words. Yeah, like it was crazy. Like actually, it's so hard. I mean, I'm so active. Like,
Not on my list of questions. Did you do that? They said, I think they're probably going to have we could do it. Yeah. So, probably like
I know it's hard. No, it's
or wait, that's what I was.
well, no,
Everyone has.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. She's but after next week, next is gonna be my last week. It is exciting. So yeah, to make this next but oh yeah, they're really yeah, we haven't heard. He starts. But Mariah was out in that for shit, so I think yeah, he described me as we're getting ready for a lot of soldiers. I think but yeah, yeah, they're hiding.
I think we're still looking. So I can like.
Please. No, I think that's fun. There's like still in
I see college for my kind of yeah, I know we're looking for I reach out to my
I've never seen my whole again. Like you kind of why do you think? Do you want to put it in between us right here?
You see me, my husband, yeah, they talking now. Where's the he went around there looking for you. I am here because I think there is right there. How are you doing? She said, give us okay, still, so I'll give you still that. And I'll just record it. You can take that for
That's right, West Side. Why did you go get my 8th Hall of Fame jacket? Woo! Woo! Utah might not like that. He might not like it. But again, he represents. Doesn't matter. That's right. The best place in that time, Gullah Geechee Speak. We're still there. Someone still got left.
Good to see you. Thanks for all the great work.
Oh,
Glad
I was just gonna make a suggestion.
I'm debating about that place.
Really? Okay. All right. Suggestion.
I understand.
The audio is
I
clear.
know it is. I'm debating on that. Let me see how we gonna get put together first, and then I'll tell you. You'll know whether.
He thinks you're a novice.
Yeah, I know. You don't realize you
Now watch out.
You know what this is? Because y'all be acting like y'all don't know what this is. Doesn't serve you yet, does it? Yeah, it was on the top like you Oh, sorry. You're good. Oh, okay.
How are you? It's an extra Sunday today.
Sometimes like the hands on hurting. And other times Yes, your name? Yes. You get the scissors out the truck. Anybody got a pair of scissors? Open that up real quick. No?
I got some.
Somebody said it. Somebody go ahead. Please got it. Please got it right there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I just hit fire. Diffy. I just hit diffy. Straight diffy. I just spit. Spit fire.
No.
Greetings. I'm Dr. Amir Jamal Toure, human rights activist, and Queen Quet and I have some over 60 years of human rights activity. And right now, Gullah Geechee people, African people here, we are under siege. African people, Gullah Geechee people are under siege, who are living and those who passed on. And we have glaring issues in all our communities. See, our story is not one story. Many times we like to think that our story is just here in Savannah. No, we are people that go from North Carolina down to Florida, smaller pockets in Oklahoma, and some in southern Tejas, Texas, and in Nacimiento de los Negros. We are here and we come together as one family. We have seen what has transpired in Savannah, not just this year, not just last year. 20 years ago, we discussed some of these very issues of re-gentrification here in this city. 30 years ago, we did the same thing. And guess what happened? People ignored us. So that's why with Queen Quet and others of the Gullah Geechee Nation, we have said for the longest time, you must listen to us because we've told the same stories in Charleston, South Carolina. And you look today in Charleston, you do not see the Gullah Geechee presence in Charleston living there anymore. On the outskirts. We have made that same clarion call here in Georgia. So often Savannah tends to think that it's just about Savannah. Now understand that the story is much more powerful than that. We are under siege, living and deceased. So we have our cemeteries right here in Georgia that have basically been the backyards for some people on St. Simon's Island. 20 years ago, Queen Quet and I go to Richmond Hill. We go to the Ford gated community. They use another name for it in Richmond Hill. We go there with an archaeologist, and they are told they cannot disclose certain information. But then also we are told that there are at least 2 cemeteries there of Gullah Geechee people that they have no access to, limited access. And that's why I think about Jewtown Cemetery on St. Simon's Island. That right there, the backyards of some people are our cemeteries. And no one is making a call with regards to that except for some of the leadership that you see here right now today. This is not something that we just began to talk about. And we want to share with folks that there are issues that must be addressed clearly. We just don't do it for fanfare, not for ego, because we know that the voices are not being heard and that people choose to be silent. Silent gives consent and silent is tied to oppression. And right here, today, we look over to St. Helena. We see individuals building on top of our people. We see that. We witness that. We told folks you need to address this. And again, 20 years ago, when it occurred on Hilton Head Island, Talbot Cemetery, Tom Barnwell made the clarion call to those of us from the island, and we met at Mount Calvary Baptist Church to not address them about you cannot disrespect our ancestors when they in their state of peace. That's why I say we are under siege, living and deceased. The time will now end today with regards to us. And we want people in Savannah now understand. Stop thinking that you are separate from the rest of the Gullah Geechee Nation. Stop and cease with that. Because we are the ones that can help, because our story is not just here locally. Our story is international. And that's why we have Queen Quet, the chiefess of the Gullah Geechee Nation here right now today. The only and the first Gullah Geechee to ever speak and address the UN. When they understood that our human rights as Gullah Geechee people is powerful and palpable and real. That when we crack it like this year, this language that you have right here is the only one of African descent in the United States. Powerful and palpable. And I will not step out of the way and allow our leader, our queen, who is an activist, a human rights activists, not just here in Georgia, but throughout the entire country and the world for our people. See, that's what it is. Our story is not about civil rights, it's about human rights. And we understand that from Dr. Yusuf King Clyde to all the others who made it possible for us to be here. Our leader to address issues that are pertinent to us here in Savannah, Chatham County, but around the entire world regarding our people who are living and those who passed on, our ancestors. Queen Quet, chiefs of the Gullah Geechee Nation.
Just a little while longer, hold on. Just a little while longer, hold on. Just a little while longer, everything might be alright. When the children fight on. Just a little while longer, fight on. Just a little while longer, fight on. Just a little while longer, everything might be alright. Gonna have a pray on. Just a little while longer, pray on. Just a little while longer, pray on. Just a little while longer, everything might be alright. Everything might be alright. Everything might be alright. There we take some for that side. Yes. Look at that. Rachel. In your talk show. North America. O.V.C. What is? Damn and nothing more. These wicked things we stand on. Wait, blood still there. There we go. Ashe. 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 Stand for this year. Sacred crown. One more day. This your place. What the world is getting about now. Call it a deep talk. 100 children. Come here today. But let her know that join in this your crime community. But say we no more. Scripture tells me, and it's a Sunday. Scripture tells me that we've been made God for the name. A joy coming in. When I studied my dad today, I cried the teeth from where across the river they went. I said, hell no. I think about it. Hell, 2 weeks ago. Well, almost 500,000 people on see kind down the fence. I cracked the teeth. I let my mom and them know. Some people contact mine and say, they've seen the building. Somebody that threw a bullhorn on top when we ancestor burial. Like here been enough. And it's a dead crop. And everyone know where the video did. So they can carry around the rest of people in the world. And now almost 500,000 done shot. 400-something thousand people done shot. There are 1,000 people, 400 or something working still great job. Study with them. And I said, they all stand. Talk whatever. Just like when I crack the teeth like that, shit, thing like that. And then I want to tell nonsense. So I talk like this. That the people who saw the tear in the video that have watched me all over the world have written to us all over the world saying they stand with Gullah Geechee to stop this offense against our ancestors, against our sacred areas, against our burial areas. They said they cried, but they cried in sadness. I didn't even know a tear was on my face until it dropped off my chin. Because that wasn't a tear of sadness, that was a tear of anger. That was a tear of disgust. That was a tear because of the disgraceful manner in which others have continued to come to this area that is the Gullah Geechee Nation, which exists from Jacksonville, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida. And just take up the sea island thing like that way, it takes up our city, Savannah, Wilmington, North Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida, Jacksonville, North Carolina, Brunswick, Georgia. We are not just on the island, and no, we are not a museum item. But what we have found out is that many of the bones of our ancestors became museum items. Many of the items that we put on graves, such as clocks and plates and jewelry and various things to honor those who passed on, have become museum items because anthropologists, sociologists, even some linguists who came in because they have a fetish for people read the crack to like this shit, came and teeth the thing off the grid. And now we have people trying to move in and steal our very hearts and souls by laying their homes, their clubhouses, as in the case of the O.V.C. Island, where our sister Barnes Wilson and her family had to fight tooth and nail to stop these people from building a clubhouse on top of a burial area. So Dr. Teray said, we ain't new to this, we true to this, because we've been doing this collectively 60 years. I've been at this over 40 years. And what did people say? Why did you want to talk like that? When they yelled at me to practice like this. They said, oh, we tried to get away from that. Well, what you did was get away from your goal. You got away from your vibranium. And if you didn't value it, that is what these people are coming to get. In the midst of a pandemic, we have people playing what we call poverty politics. Poverty politics. Yes. Because what they are doing is somehow they're telling you there ain't no money out there. That the economy ain't good, but they continue to build. Who would build if nobody's going to come buy it? Who would build if no one's going to come live in it? Who would build if no one's going to rent it? But the same thing happened before. In 1919, you don't hear about that until there was a pandemic. Then you hear about the flu. And what happened? That people wore masks like we're doing. And then they said, oh, but it ended. And then it went into what you might have heard about, the roaring 20s. Anybody heard that before? The roar this time has to be us, like a lion. Roaring out and saying you will not continue the desecration of sacred land in the Gullah Geechee Nation. That's the roar this time. It's not about the party. It's not about the dancing. It's not about who has caviar or champagne. It's about all of us in shared pain. Because if you have a heart, you have a soul anywhere in the world, you should have been disgraced by anyone thinking they could come in on top of sacred land and say, well, I want to live there, or I'm just going to drop my house there for a minute or two. It shouldn't bother you. It bothers me because I am connected to the bones that lay in this soul. Come on now. Yes, these are my ancestors. My literal family members. Now, you don't care what your family that's you. But we be Gullah Geechee anointed. That's why you see in the center of our flag a family tree. Human bodies intertwined, inextricably tied together. And what are they? Rooted in the land. So I didn't come all the way from St. Helena Island on a beautiful day. After I was here in Georgia yesterday in the midst of the storm. And the interesting thing was, as I drove, I saw lightning over and over again. And every time the lightning flashed, I felt more peace. And the lightning flashed again, and I felt more peace. And it would deluge rain. But I thought about it today, and I meditated on it after midnight when I got in. And I realized what that was. It wasn't rain. It was God crying again. The same way they said God and our ancestors cried at this spot when those 400 something were sold. People were sold. People were sold. Stop calling our ancestors slaves. There are human beings that were enslaved by the crime, through the crime against humanity, by inhumane individuals. They were captives. And now this is the captive moment in time that you should pay attention. Not share a video just because somebody else watched it. Not share a video, all the education we do, all the celebration we do. We have never had one of our videos go viral until that tear fell down my face. Because anybody who's been around me and know me, you don't see me cry. That's why when I saw the hashtag weep no more, I said, okay, who are these folks? I said, those are my people. And when I looked up, they sure were. They were folks I had been at the church with down the street. We had worshiped together. We stood together. We prayed together. I came to this spot. I poured libations for our ancestors, and we will do that today before we leave here again. Because these spirits need to be rested, but they won't rest if we don't remember. That's right. They will not rest if we don't remember. Everywhere that I go in the world, I meet people who suffered in the Jewish Holocaust. And they tell me, continue to speak, continue to teach the story, never forget, and never be silent. That's right. But then people turn to us who are African and indigenous people who went through a maafa. Come on now. And still in many ways going through it. That's right. And yet, they tell us, that's over. Why y'all still talking about this? It ain't over. How is it over? If in the midst of when Mother Earth said, sit down and stay home, while we were inside, people were outside desecrating burial areas, desecrating sacred ground, and planning more poverty politics for our communities like this. Come on now. Instead of massive multi-million-dollar institutions like the Salvation Army saying, you know what we're going to do for once? We're going to share our resources. We're going to share the money. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Weepentine property and put a memorial there with an interpretive center that can employ the community, that can educate the next generation about what took place there, the same way we did when we fought for the African burial ground in New York City. And I was there. I had an organization called the African Cultural Arts Network, African with a K, and K for cultural, Akan. And we stood for our African ancestors, but we stood for this generation and the future generation by supporting one another. We took trips to places to support one another. So that's why I said we ain't new to this. We true to this. Because it doesn't matter where I go in the world, I still a Gullah Geechee and things like that. And I'm still part of that connection you see in that circle. And may the circle be unbroken throughout the African diaspora. I've heard from family in Angola. I've heard from family in Nigeria that said, Quet, this burial ground, this is Igbo. That was the first message from Mother Africa. This is Igbo. Now, what do we have here in Georgia? Igbo land. The place where the Africans stood so powerfully that they became legends. That people don't want to admit the truth. That when we say they flew We talk about the spiritual high that they had, the spiritual power that they had. Nobody drowned themselves. No one committed suicide. So stop telling that lie. All right. Whenever Africans stand powerfully, we become legends. Harry Tubman is Little Turnbull. Now they turned out he played American Beach into Little Turnbull. When I'm dead and gone, they try to do it now. Turn me into a cartoon, Little Turnbull. Because you got to be a legend. You can't be legendary.
Come on now.
Because there is a difference. But Gullah Geechee culture is so legendary that people taught one another, stay off them islands. Stay away from them Geechee. So when Dr. Teray says here in Savannah, you act like you're not part of Gullah Geechee Nation, which goes from Jacksonville, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida. That's what you were taught.
Right.
Because you were taught that if you escape the island and get to the city and talk like this here and don't crack your teeth like this here no more, that you know you're different now.
Right.
That, thank you, ma'am. Representative Collins says separation. We have no separation in the Gullah Geechee.
Right.
One circle, one family, one tree rooted in this soil where our souls are. And we will have the world respect and the sacredness of our land, the sacredness of our ancestral burial areas, the sacredness of our historic sites, and more so than that, the sacredness of our very soul. We will not allow people to come in and continue to disrespect us in this land. And now for my folks who are here today from the West Side, I know y'all might be surprised, but the song West Side was one of my favorite songs. But I rewrote it because I'm from a place called Seaside. And I had rewritten every lyric to apply to where I lived and I grew up. But as I thought about coming here today, I thought about the line. And he said, if my people, if you with me, where you at? We got your back.
That's right. Be here.
All right now. Ain't but one from the West Side. I guess ain't but one got my back, but we go. All right. I hear that. My people, if you with me, where you at?
Right here.
My people, if you with me, where you at?
Right here.
My people, if you with me, where you at?
Right here.
We got your back.
We got your back.
Now that's going to be our statement as we emerge back into the world, risking our lives to do it because our ancestors' lives are important. Not that their lives are important. We are starting the Save Gullah Geechee Land Caravan. When Spirit told me that that's what we're going to do, the Save Gullah Geechee Land Caravan, the first person I ever told that to was Dr. Teray. And I said, we start at the weeping time. We're going to start at this site. Because if this is where they stole our ancestors from and then dispersed them throughout the Gullah Geechee Nation, we thought it not robbery to start at the beginning. Go back to old landmark. We're going to start here. Then the family going to come to St. Helena. We're going to go to North Carolina. We're going to be down in Brunswick. We're going all the way down to Florida. Last year, in the midst of the pandemic, we fought off another destruction company from coming in O'Neill, Florida, and building over a burial area behind the historic church there. Y'all ain't had no news on that, did you?
You gotta know the family story.
That's it. People have said to us and tagged us all over Facebook like we don't know what we do. Talk about why you don't get this on the media, get this on the news. The response was we don't own the news companies. We don't own U.S. news outlets, but it's on Gullah Geechee TV. It's on All Things Relevant. It's on our media. Now, you want something done, you do it.
Hello.
But in the midst of us grieving and fighting for our ancestral lands, the heartlessness of people that say, why don't we do something else? Well, we're literally trying to live. So at what point do you gain respect? Because you've proven the folks that desecrated burial areas from North Kakalaki down to Florida. You proven that even when we dead, you don't respect us.
That ain't right.
Living and deceased. So I dare anyone to tell me and other native Gullah Geechee that we should cease and desist from still remembering our Ma'afa. That we are still living through. People were surprised that one of my ancestors' birth dates on a headstone that I showed you was 1800. That's the one I showed you. Because guess why I couldn't show you numbers on other ones? Because you see right there behind y'all, what's that right there? Tree, right? Those are the monuments that our ancestors had as headstones. So I thank our state archaeologists and our state historic preservation officers in South Carolina, because they were the first ones that said to me, Queen Quet, you did the right thing by reporting it. And you did the right thing by calling the police about it. But guess what the police told me? Ain't no crime been committed here.
Wow.
Even though South Carolina Code 16-17-600 makes it desecration of a burial area to even cut a tree. That's right. Or remove a shrub or bush. I told that person in uniform, I called you here to do your job, which is write a report. You are not a judge. You don't adjudicate the law here. Write the report and I'll take it from there. Right. I know the procedure. Unfortunately, I've been through this more than one time. But fortunately, we won everything. And we prevented these people from building on and living in burial areas. But again, if my people, if you with me, where you at?
Right here.
Now don't be here today, and then next week you tired.
Come on now. Come on now.
Next month you done fell off.
That's right.
Next year, there we go, fetish activism and what I call keyboard activism. Y'all social media activists, but y'all don't do nothing for real people.
Come on now.
Y'all social media activists, but y'all do nothing for real people. Y'all like to say for real and keep it 100. Let's keep it. A lot of the people commenting about Gullah Geechee online don't know what the culture is and put songs out here being tried. But they're exploiting our culture. They're no better than the people who were desecrating the burial areas. Have respect. We be Gullah Geechee anointed people. You don't play with the sacred. So before I go here today, I got to do what the Spirit led me to look at. And come on up, Sister Anita. This is our representative, Anita Collins from Brunswick, Georgia. You want to give a greeting to the family?
Greetings to all of you. Never forget when you, as Queen Quet said, this is our flag. This is our flag. This is the flag of the Gullah Geechee. Lord, don't let it be disrespected on this day. Thank you for being here today. And all of you who are working. It's not going to be a fire. Don't look for a fire. May not even be on the headline. Don't look for a fire. Do the work. Do the work.
Thank you, ma'am. So if I got a pastor or deacon here today, I ain't trying to take none of your job. I know the deacon, my son used to call my the deacons the pre-pastor. Some of them get up there look like they were preached before the pastor, right? So when he was little, he said the pre-pastor. I said, what a pre-pastor? He pointed at the deacon. And I never forgot that. But the Spirit would not let me leave this spot without sharing with you what God gave me. And Dr. Teray can tell you, I told y'all it was after midnight when I was up meditating and I was on the phone with him at 7 this morning. But that's what we do. Because there's no rest for the weary. There's no rest when justice hasn't come yet. There's a price for freedom. There's a price for freedom. And some of that price is your time, your energy, and your money. 400,000 views, but ain't $400,000 in the legal. And that is, and we said, y'all said, get cash out. We got cash out. The outside Gullah Geechee Nation. Some people ain't even put in $1, but y'all can sing that song. I got 5 on it, right?
Yeah.
Well, put 5 on this. Put all your instincts on it. And the Spirit led me this morning and said, you know what? Look up weeping in Scripture. There's a whole lot more to it than Jesus wept. There's a whole lot more to it than weeping shall endure for a night, joy come in the morning. So I did my homework. First thing the first thing that struck me was Job, chapter 30, verse 25. Job said, did not I weep for him whose day was hard? Was my soul grieved, would not grieve for the needy? My soul was grieved when I saw this community saying somebody was going to bring in a shelter on a historic site.
Come on now.
Instead of bringing in economic empowerment.
Come on now.
And more education for our children.
Amen.
So then I saw Psalm 34, 17. It said, when the righteous cry for help. Notice the adjective. When the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears and delivers them out of their troubles. Hence, weep no more. Righteous people don't have to weep. Psalm 35 said, 30 and 5 says, for his anger is but for a moment, but his favor is for a lifetime. Weeping may tarry for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Now, see, most of us thought the verse was only the latter part. That would be Psalm 35b. We don't often hear the whole thing. It's always about the whole story, the whole context.
That's right.
That's what we're here to give you today. That this ain't about just the weeping time. This ain't about just that one burial area on that viral video. This is about all the weep.
That's right.
Here it is. Psalm 126 and 5 said, those who sow in tears shall shout in joy, will reap in joy. Hence I got to shout. That's about that time. Yes, and John 11:35 did say Jesus wept. But listen to what Romans 12 and 15 said. Rejoice with those who rejoice, but weep with those who weep. So to my brothers, especially my classmates at St. Helena Island, who said you cried when you saw that video, I appreciate you weeping. But I need you now to rejoice with me. I need you to stand with me. I only saw one person that I knew personally tag that video and say to me, Queen Quet, I got you back. One out of almost 500,000 views. Revelation 21 and 4. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, every tear, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning. What you say? Weep no more, right? Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore, for the former things have passed away. And my sister tell them, see, I ain't lying, right? What y'all see me put on that paper? Weep no more. Isaiah 41:10 said, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. We be Gullah Geechee. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. There's that righteousness again. You got to get back to living right and walking righteously. Then we can say this, one of my favorites. But what shall we say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? Nobody. Oh, they can come. But what they say, you go back limping. All right. Because my enemies that came to eat of my flesh, they stumbled and fell. That's right. Telling you that. Now, Ecclesiastes 3 and 4 said, for those who writing down notes, the previous was Romans 8 and 31. The professor and me want to make you do homework, so I'm going to teach y'all all right on the Sunday. All right. Ecclesiastes 3 and 4 says, a time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. There's a time, it's shouting time. It's time to shout for our ancestors who had the strength and the power and the ability to leave strength, power, and ability in each and every one of us here today. Our DNA shows you that. But all that people have attempted to do, us as African and indigenous people in North America, and Hunter-Tillers this year. What else you got but strength? What else you got but power? What else you got but God on your side? So Revelations 5:5 said, one of the elders said to me, weep no more. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah and the Root of David has come so that he can open the scrolls and the seven seals. I ain't gonna go all the way into it, but I would tell you, The Conquering Lion by Lauryn Hill on her live album, go listen to it. Sing it, march it, walk it. 7 seals, 7, number of completion, 9, number of completion. It is time to complete this journey. Every day since I put that video up 2 weeks ago, I kept waking up at 4:13 in the morning. 4:13 in the morning. What is with the 4:13 in the morning? And then the date 4:13 came, and I stopped waking up at 4:13. And a reporter asked me, well, Queen Quet, what's the significance of that? I said, you know, I kept meditating to figure it out, and now that you asked me, that's an 8 numerologically. That means we got one more thing to do to complete this, to put an end to this desecration forever. So that is why we are starting the Save Gullah Geechee Land Caravan. If you want to support us, you want to join us, you want to be a part of it, go to GullahGeecheeLand.com. Sign up on it. Say how you're going to help to save Gullah Geechee Land. No, honey, ain't have to be like we. You do not have to be a Gullah Geechee.
Right.
You just need to be somebody who is tired of these crimes against humanity. That's all. We don't care where you live in the world. You can help. You can be of service. We have a GoFundMe. People keep saying, start a GoFundMe. I done posted and reposted that GoFundMe so many times, I'm about to lose my mind looking at it. Because I'm not the person that you need to tell to do something. I'm a person of action. As God leads, I follow. But for those who keep asking for it, just go to GoFundMe to the Gullah Geechee Land and Legacy Fund. You can't mistake it because the video of me is there, explaining what Dr. Teray opened with today. This ain't our first time fighting these battles. We're continuing to fight to save our land, the sacred ground, but also the ground where we need to have for agriculture, that we need to have for our homes, that we need to have for our worship centers, that we have as sacred areas to us, no matter what it looks like to you. And again, for those who are on the Cash App thing, $ Gullah Geechee Nation. Let me spell it, because here we go, Dr. Teray. That's a teachable moment. The word Gullah itself means people blessed by God. And Gullah is spelled G-U-L-L-A-H here in the Gullah Geechee Nation. Geechee is G-E-E-C-H-E-E. And no I and Geechee is with a we. So Gullah Geechee Nation. So $ Gullah Geechee Nation. GullahGeecheeNation.com. GullahGeecheeLand.com. At Gullah Geechee on Twitter and Instagram. That's how you can keep up with what we're doing, where we will be going, when we get there, when we go live, so on and so forth. Gullah Geechee Nation on Facebook, and there's GullahGeechee.tv and all things relevant media here as well on Facebook and on YouTube. You can find the stations and you will keep up with what we are doing with the Save Gullah Geechee Land Caravan. But I thought it not wrong to bring that message from God. After Dr. Teray posted on Facebook, Queen Quet coming to the Weaver Time market at 3 o'clock, come in the word. I said, okay. I'm supposed to give them a word besides telling people that they on my last nerve. Okay. And God said, yeah, I got the word for you. You know I always do. God gave me. But God also said, while I have you here, and while whoever Dr. Perez gonna have come up next comes up, media, y'all stay where y'all are. Don't chase me down. I'm only going to get my libation bottle out of the vehicle because we will pour libation here today. But when we pour it on this spot, it will represent going out to all the places that our ancestors were dispersed from this spot. It won't be just for this community, it'll be for all of us.
Much larger.
For all of us. And so I want to thank the family of West Savannah. I appreciate you. I love y'all. Y'all know I've been standing with you on this issue from the beginning. I stand with you till that day I can shout outside the interpretive center and memorial here. But in the meantime, weep no more. Weep no more. Weep no more. Take a stand for Gullah Geechee land. Coming up, Dr. Ray. I ain't gonna get this.
We are now going to have the alderwoman for this district to come share a few words. That is Alderwoman Ryan today. We're going to clearly recognize our representatives who've been right here in the struggle.
Thank you, Dr. Ray. Appreciate it. Queen Quet, all of you. She's up for you. Thank you so much. I'll hold it right here. I think you understand. Yeah. So, stop it. That's salt water because all of you water was salt water. But that was supposed to be the right order. And I honor that. Yeah. And all my sisters and brothers that I met at South Carolina State, yes. I honor them. Thank you. I honor them. So thank you all for coming out on this afternoon. And thank you for those honorable words. Welcome to the first district. Welcome back to West Savannah. I see so many of you all who have stood with us, stood by us, and have worked alongside of us in this struggle, in this current struggle, to save this living time problem. So we continue to work so we can have someone come in who can give us an unbiased and an accurate account of documenting the problem. And that's where we are right now. We thank all of you all for working with us on the fundraiser that we may use to assist the professionals that will come here if they need such to help us in this plight. I thank Dr. Ray for organizing this because the more eyes and hearts we can get pointed towards West Savannah at this time so they can recognize this community asset that is a community asset not only for West Savannah, but for the entire city of Savannah, this region of the United States and the world. That's what we have here in our midst, and we do not need to at this time allow anyone to make any egregious mistakes and defile the sacred ground. And once we are done with this work, we're going to bring the people together, the residents, the citizens of Savannah, to sit and discuss what is the best and the highest use to be developed on that property. So again, I thank you all for coming out. We're going to again thank Quet, thank Dr. Howard Hall, and Dr. Deidre Grimm for assisting in these matters and all of these matters that's been time in these last several weeks. And all of you all who have stuck with us. So again, thank you all. I got all the women here today that have been with us and vote with us and support us and understand our plight and understand this fight. And that's all the woman Alicia Miller Blakely at large post 2. Yes. And we have all the woman Keisha Gibson Carter at large post 1. Yes. I thank you ladies and I appreciate you all. And I'm going to turn the mic back over to Dr. Torres. Thank you again for coming out into West Savannah and standing with us and continue to stand with us this day. And it's the people's time.
I'm good. I'm in the middle of something. What is this about? Yeah, call me later. That's fine. Thank you.
We're going to allow a brief Q&A with Queen Quet. Any questions? Because again, we know a brief Q&A with Queen Quet. We know for some of y'all, this is the first time for y'all to see this and see it manifested in Savannah. But again, it's been a part of our history that we've done this before. And so we're going to do this, allow y'all, Any of the journalists have any question, we'll let you pose your question to Queen Quet, and then we'll move on to the libation. But then, if you don't have any questions, if there are no questions, then that's fine. We just give that option to you all. But we believe in fairness and equality. That is Gullah Geechee and African traditions.
I asked everyone to at least could we spread out into a bigger circle. Some folks come around back here. Our photographer, you keep walking. Walk around here into the circle. Everybody just spread out together. Oh, thank y'all. Thank you so much. I know the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Your eyes on the prize. Oh, Lord, oh, Lord. I know the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Oh, Lord. This will be. We fought for the ancestors. Who first cracked it? We keep on a hand from the cloud. War somehow. We still, the whole from the cloud. We fought for honey and we say, Ashe. This your day. We war. We hard. All the ancestors. What the dear condition sight. And that day, the sky crop. We fought and we say, Ashe. All 100 children. We're there. I can do that. Yeah. I know who wanna be. When I take free, wanna be free. Before we said, Ashe. All that you. We're in the area. We're coming. We want to look. Be. They want the answer. Now, let me go. Let me call out. The ancestors. What we learn with who we be. How for long we culture and we family. That we honor them. Call out in names. Now we try. Ashe. All that we don't let us all talk. We say, Ashe, Ashe. Now, Dr. Ray, you want to lead us in Harambe?
You know, Harambe is a key Swahili word that means let's pull together. And so everybody know when we raise our hands to the sky, we bring it down, we say Harambe. We say it loud so it can go to the heavens. That it goes so loud that everybody at HBJ can hear that.
There we go.
But y'all know, I'll go on this something. People from HBJ can't count. We can't
You're in
count.
Wolverine territory now.
Well, I'm just saying. We have no, we said we don't have no fear.
Okay.
So on the 7th time, that when we let it ring to the heavens, we let it stay up as long as possible. And sometimes, as I said, I just count. So I might take you like the 8 or 9. So somebody please say to me, appoint me when it's the 7th time. So again, we will raise our hands to the sky. Say, Harambe! 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 Harambe!
Harambe! Hey!
Again, we say thank you. We appreciate you all coming, being here with Queen Quet and with the West Savannah community, but more importantly, the Savannah community. Understand that our story is not a singular story. We are one Savannah. And then we have not just been saying that right now as some hashtag. We are one Savannah. So whatever impacts one part of Savannah impacts all of us. So it's not just one neighborhood, it's about all of us. Again, we're glad to have you all here with us. And again, the story continues. And that's why when the Queen said the first caravan is going to be right here, I was like, yes. Because it's for us to understand our importance, because sometimes we don't realize our importance to the entire story, not just regard to African people, but to this American story, to this international story. We are it. This is the sacred land for all of us. West Savannah and beyond. We thank you all. Appreciate you all.
Now,
Our leadership.
I want y'all all to come in, and my photographer get this shot with all the fam that came out. Come on, y'all. Yes. Not in front of the video camera, man.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Watch it. Turn the camera around for me, please, camera lady. Turn the video camera for me. Okay, see, this one is the selfie. Yeah, that's for the Leo. That's for the Leo. No, not all Leos. That's him.
July Leos are wonderful.
You got all the negative traits right there. All right, can you see us all?
Yeah. All right,
There you go.
See that? That's what beats our bulldogs right there.
It's also the age of the woman.
I know that's right.
I'm going to go get my HBJ Hall of Fame jacket and bring it over here right now.
Anita, how come you ain't get it in here? Come on here. Hold on.
She's trying to chill. She's trying to chill. You ain't camera trying to
She's
chill.
trying to hide out. You gotta come on here. All right, there we go.
Get your Kunda in the house.
That's right. Thank you. Love y'all. So good to see y'all. All right, y'all.
That's it, folks.
Okay, nice to meet you.